Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So, we've been talking about Alzheimer's, my diagnosis with it, and we're just going to kind of go through some of the process that I went through with my doctors to become diagnosed with Alzheimer's a couple of years after the journey started. So, real quickly, I choose to go to a gerontologist or a geriatrician. That is somebody who specializes in older people. Like you have a pediatrician for kids, you have a geriatrician for the geriatrics. And I see a geriatrician who's on the faculty of the University of Utah Medical Center, School of Medicine, and she's a researcher up there. I asked her the other day, so Dr. Sorwide, what percentage of your patients have some form of dementia or Alzheimer's? She goes, about 98%. She didn't hesitate. It was like, she said, basically all of them. So you can go to a neurologist and get the same testing done that I did at a geriatrician. But, it gives me peace and comfort to know that my doctor has 98% of her patients with my condition in some form or another. That tells me she has lots of experience, right? So that being said, I see a geriatrician, Dr. Michelle Sorwide, up at the University of Utah, and I can't say enough good about her. She's amazing. So the first time I went in to see her, which was back in 2021, she did the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, or MoCA, test on me. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes to do the test, and it checks for signs of mild cognitive impairment, or MCI, and dementia. A normal score is greater than 26. The highest you can get is a 30. And on my first visit with her and me taking the MoCA the first time, my score was 25. So it was just barely below what's considered normal. So she sent me over to have a battery of 14 memory tests done on me, neuropsychological testing at the University of Utah by Dr. Lindsay Embry. She was amazing. I had that done in August of 21, and I was there for about 5 or 6 hours getting this battery of 15 tests done. It's exhausting mentally, but physically it's not a big deal. So after I met with Dr. Embry and Dr. Sorwide in 21, I was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, or MCI. So just get used to that term because you're going to hear it a lot from me, from other people that have the same diagnosis. So every time I go into Dr. Sorwide's office, whether I like it or not, I have to take the MoCA. And my score consistently over the years has been 25, 26, 24. And so that's kind of why we did this additional testing. And then I was officially diagnosed in 21 with MCI. Not Alzheimer's, just MCI. So we went along for a couple of years, and that's when me going in once a year to get this MoCA test done again, the score started to drop a little bit. That's why we progressed and did the additional testing, like the APOE3/4 PET scan, amyloid PET scan, and we're going to talk about all that and what it means and how it can affect us. So I just wanted to talk today a little bit about the very inception of this diagnosis was going to the doctor, getting my memory tested, getting the MoCA done in her office, scoring a little bit below normal, then going in and having a battery of 14 other tests done. And after those tests were all done in August of 2021, I was finally diagnosed with MCI. It wasn't until May of 2024 that I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And we'll get into that in a little more detail on another time. But we got to talk about APOE3/4, the different types of PET scans that I've had done. And then from there, we'll get into the treatment, which is the most exciting part. I hope from this last video that I did on getting tested, I just felt impressed that there's somebody out there who is questioning their memory and they're nervous to go get their memory tested. But I just have to tell you again, please do it. Because if you catch this early enough, meaning the Alzheimer's disease, there's treatments for it. And I'm not talking about a pill. I'm talking about having a port put in my case, and having every other week infusions of a drug called Leqembi. So we're going to get into a lot of detail on that. It's a miracle drug. I mean, look at me. I'm over 2 years since I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Hello, and I'm still doing great. And it's because of that drug, literally. So hang in there, go get tested, and we'll talk tomorrow or the next day about what the next step was, okay? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.